Well, welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. Today is all about working on our potatoes. We've got two raised beds of potatoes, two different varieties, and it is time to do some amending. Guys, thanks for stopping in at the Piney Woods Homestead. Hit that like and subscribe if you hadn't, and if you have, as always, we appreciate you. We're going to give you 3 tips that have helped us to be successful with growing potatoes over the past several years. Let's get on in it.
We grow 2 different varieties of potatoes. This is our russet potatoes that we will use for fresh eating and hopefully storing a little bit if we can figure out a way, since we don't have a cool basement to put them in. But the other bed is our Yukon Gold, and that's what we do for all of the canning. Just because Yukon Gold is one of the varieties that cans a lot better. Russets are much higher in starch, so they don't can as well. So these will be all for our canning potatoes. Now our Yukon Golds, they're still pretty and green, but you can see the russets are getting a little bit yellow, and that just means that they're needing some fertilization. And normally we will amend the beds with some fertilizer before we plant. But the only thing we did this year was our homemade compost. So that'll be the first step, is getting some side dressing with some fertilization or fertilizer on these. So basically all these have had has been the nutrients that were in our compost. So now I'm going to go through with, this is just over a pound of triple 13, and this is all that they will get for the rest of the growing season. And I'm just going around and sprinkling, not real heavy, we're just sprinkling it around each of the plants. And again, this was it's an 18-ounce solo cup. It's just over a pound, and it will be plenty to do this whole bed.
Big old worms in here. Y'all, the next step here in successful potato gardening is top dressing. You'd call it hilling if we were in the in-ground garden with these potatoes, hilling up the rows. But we're just top dressing these potatoes with additional compost. And the reason we're doing that is as these potatoes grow, they'll have a tendency to start showing themselves to daylight, the actual potatoes. And to prevent that from happening, we add more soil on top. It'll keep them from turning green in the sun and being a potato that's really no good. So we'll probably put 1 inch to 2 inches of compost on top of these. And then we'll show you something else that we're going to have to deal with that's in the compost once we get this top dressed. Y'all, when you're working with homemade compost and you're putting all kinds of organic material in there, I like to wear gloves when I'm working with it, just because there's all kinds of bugs and stuff down in it, and fire ants, and I don't want to get stung right now, but I'll use a scoop to do this dressing with. Works out pretty good. As you can see here, I'm just covering maybe 1 inch or so, 1.5 inches, 2 inches in here. There's plenty of fire ants, but we're going to show you what we're going to do to take care of those here shortly. But let me show you another one. All these little 4-quart scoops are great for things like this, not just feeding the animals. Gives you control. You can get more than just with your hands. And you can stir it around. And I'll keep going on through the bed with this and get it top dressed. I'm fixing to show you something. I thought it was a snake.
I should have been videoing.
Let me see if I can dig it out. I think I might have cut part of it. Here's one of them. Look at these worms. That's a rope. But look at these things. That's how you know that your compost is working. When you see these big old jokers in there. I guess this would be a night crawler, wouldn't it? I don't even know if that is a night crawler. It's an earthworm. But they are magnificent. Time to go fishing.
Now the next thing that we're going to do is go through and use this Bug Buster 2 by Monterey. We love the Monterey products. This is not organic, not OMRI certified, but my understanding is that it will probably be in the future. This is a version of, it's a pyrethroid. We usually primarily use pyrethrin, which this is derived from, but this will kill actually a little bit more. And so we're going to use, we actually only use this usually in the summer when there's
Tell them roosters to be quiet. We're trying to make a video.
When we have heavy infestations of stink bugs, squash bugs, things like that. But for the most part, so we generally just use the pyrethrin. But we're going to use this on the potatoes. This will be the only application, just to catch any maybe of the fire ants that might have made their way in here. And it won't hurt the earthworms, but you do want to put this on when it's overcast or late in the evening. And since it's really overcast right now, we're going to go ahead and get this put on there. It must be lunchtime with them.
Y'all, we've been working really hard with these roosters, trying to train them, you know, to be quiet when we're doing these videos, but it just hadn't worked. Whoops. I think it's time for I'm going to get me a new pump sprayer, a 2-gallon one, because we got a lot to spray this year. But y'all, when when we come in here and spray, I try to get up under the leaves as best I can, and all this is going to fall down on top of that new compost that we put in, and it's going to kill those fire ants, roly-polies, anything that's in there that's not beneficial. It's going to wipe it out for us. And like Lisa said, we use Bug Buster too when we know we have an infestation, and we do in this compost because of the fire ants and the roly-polies.
One of the ways that you can trap roly-polies in your gardens is to take a raw potato, cut it in half, place it face side down, and they are attracted to that potato, and you can just scoop them out. So they're not really the best for potato beds, and there's not many in the compost, but
mostly fire ants.
Yeah, it's mostly fire ants, and there wasn't as many today. So
that's a good heavy dosing.
Yeah.
You just spray it till it's dripping, and you're done. And I'll get the other one done here. And y'all, I mixed a half a gallon. It's 1 ounce to a gallon for the Bug Buster 2. I used a half an ounce, half a gallon of water. And you can harvest your potatoes 7 days after you've sprayed this, if it's in a harvest window, which it's not. But 7 days, and then it's considered safe to pick your fruit or your vegetable.
And they do have a Bug Buster O that is already certified organic, but it's just not quite as potent, I guess you could say, as their Bug Buster 2. It doesn't have quite as broad of a pest package.
And y'all, that's all it takes. I'm getting me a new pump sprayer. I'm tired of this thing. I've patched it I don't know how many times, but y'all, there's still plenty left over. I probably sprayed 16 ounces. Now I'll go around and I'll spray around the base of every one of these beds, and that will deter more fire ants from coming in and building. So we're not wasting the spray.
Now everybody's quiet.
Yeah. I told you,
as we're done.
We've been training them. Only the hens are making noise because they're being productive and laying eggs.
Yeah.
Guys, that's 3 tips for you. Started off with the fertilization. We started off these beds with our natural compost that has natural fertilizer in it. And it did really well up until these plants got up to about, 14, 15 inches. Then we started seeing signs of needing some fertilizer. So we fertilized with the triple 13, 1 pound for a 32 square foot garden bed, a little bit more for this other one with the, what do you call those again?
Yukon Golds.
Yukons.
Yeah.
And then we top dressed or healed with our compost again. So the natural benefit of the homemade compost. And then we sprayed. So that's number 3. So fertilization, top dressing or healing, and spraying. For insect control.
Well, yeah, in our case, we sprayed for the fire ants, but it's,
yes,
you know, there are pests that will get on potato plants.
Yeah. Potato beetles.
We've never had any problem with them.
No. But I think we
did spray once last year, but we used pyrethrin.
Yeah, pyrethrin, yeah. And we generally do not spray unless we see a problem. But we're out here every day, y'all. Lisa's got her hands on them. She sees a problem, I spray that evening. And it's usually totally organic methods. And you can see this is kind of a hybrid method here that we're doing, and we still feel like that's better than just commercially produced produce. Guys, we hope this has been beneficial to you. Messing up my words. Beneficial. If it has, drop us a comment, let us know. We hope it helps with your potato growing this year. Y'all have a good day, a great week. We'll see you on the next one. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise
Too high.
That's right. We'll see you.